Welcome to the GameDev.tv Community Podcast. I'm your host KB, and I would like to introduce you to industry professionals and people who successfully made their path to the video game industry. I hope that you will enjoy the podcast and get useful tips that will bring you closer to achieving your dreams. Now, let's get right into the podcast.
We have the GFM band here today. So I want you guys to let the fans know a little bit about who you are, and then we'll go from there and ask you questions based on the growth, the band, music, and everything that you guys are up to.
All right, cool. Yeah. So we're GFM. I'm Maggie. I play the bass and I do the screams and some clean vocals. This is CJ in the middle. She plays guitar and she does clean vocals with me. And then Lulu is the drummer. She's on the end. She plays drums. She's a drummer. She does some backup vocals and everything. And we play pretty heavy music, and we didn't really know what genre we belonged in, so we decided to make our own and call it Beautycore. And it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing, which is kind of an ongoing theme with our band and with our music. We tried to kind of make fun of the things that people would choose to use against us, so that way it doesn't have power, and the power lies in your hands then, because if you can laugh at yourself, that's the strongest thing ever. So that's the kind of a thing our parents have always taught us growing up, so it's really helped a lot with kind of a cutthroat industry.
Yeah, because you got over 1 million overall Spotify streams. You're number 6 in the Billboard for CHR charts. For anybody who doesn't know what that means, what is the CHR charts?
So CHR is the Christian hard rock charts for Billboard, which they kind of have done away with that now. So it's moved on to CMW, which is Christian Music Weekly charts. So, but they're kind of just Billboard charts, music charts, where radio stations are playing you and stuff.
Those accomplishments are amazing. How do you guys feel about where you started to where you are now? Because that must be a huge shock.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, we're always blown away by everything, every time we accomplish something, and we always try to celebrate the little things. That's another thing our parents really enforcing us. Mm-hmm. Don't just take for granted being number 1 on the radio station to playing for, amount of people. Differs from different accomplishments, but just celebrate each one, because when you look back, you're going to be like, oh goodness, I should have celebrated that. I can't believe it.
You only get to experience things first one time. So they always taught us to really live in the moment and really just soak it all in.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, so that's the thing with this podcast too, is we like to take the knowledge and experience from people who made it to the people who are trying to get to where you are now. And the stuff you're already saying is on point with all that, with living in a moment, appreciating this one moment, because you won't get it again. And it's hard to do that, especially, I guess, if you become more successful, to be oh my God, this moment's important because this is really it. Do you ever feel there's a moment where you've crap, we made it, so where do we go from here? You know how it's usually the grind to get to the top, and now you're at the top. Where's next?
Yeah.
We've never had the mentality oh my word, we've made it. It was always just fun all the time. So It wasn't that climb the ladder, I have to do this, we have to do this to meet a quota. It was, oh my goodness, we're doing this, we're doing this, now we're doing this.
Yeah, it's so weird when people come up to us and they're like, hey, can we get a picture? And it's this is so crazy. Yeah. And we're like, oh my word, how does it feel being famous? We're like, we're not famous. What are you talking about?
We are a Christian band, and so we're all Christians in the band. And just the more experiences that we get, it brings to light how many lives we're able to impact with our music, which is another thing that it's kind of mind-blowing when you realize, there's a lot of people that are listening, and it's helping a lot of people, and it also encourages us to keep going, because I know a lot of people are oh, it must be tiring because you're on the road all the time, or it must be tiring to be away from home. And yeah, if you let it get to you, it will be tiring, but when you hear all those stories and you meet all those people and see their faces, and you just get to know what, not only the music, but we go live all the time, and we talk to our fans and our family, our team, and we DM them back and forth, and so it's crazy to see all of the lives that have been impacted. So I think that's another way that we look at it. It's not so much, oh my goodness, we're famous. It's oh my goodness, look at all the lives that we've been able to help.
We've been blessed with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, that must be a crazy feeling to be inspiring a lot of people and just be like, how did you get there? Because at first it's like excited, it's just for fun, but now it's like this is not just fun, it's also helping so many people. So do you like push now to do a lot of things to help others, like with your videos, or like especially with the one a day in a life? I felt like it helped be like bring the reality of what you guys do to other people.
Yeah, that's something that we've really found that like live streams, especially because of COVID and the pandemic and everything, has really helped. It just helps people see that like we're normal people too, and like we have struggles, and we had to run to Target to get eyeliner because we ran out of eyeliner today, and we're looking for coupons to save money and stuff. Like
I was gonna say most guy bands don't have to worry about that, but
all the bands that we play with do have to worry about eyeliner. So.
I feel like this is the thing in like the rock scene. Yeah.
So yeah, it's always fun, and it helps us connect with our fans because that's why we do the band, is to help people. And even if you don't have the same Christian faith that we do, we want to create a safe place for you to just kind of be in and exist in, and to let your baggage go and let all the stress just kind of go away for just those few 15 minutes while we're live, or that 45 minutes while we're playing a show. And so for us to be able to get to know these people is really cool, because we wanted to make a place for the underdogs, for the people that were outcast, and because we've all experienced that ourselves. And so if we can be that family for those people, it really helps not only us but those people as well, which is really cool.
I love that. Make a place for the outcasts, the rebels, the people that most people don't shine a light on. And you've allowed that to happen. I've seen it in the YouTube comments and everybody just getting all excited and like, GFM's here, and like, oh my gosh. So how did the name come about?
It's
GFM.
funny.
And what's the whole?
Always credit our mom.
Yeah.
Because we did the band when we started the band like really little. We were having the topic of when did we really start, and we just got these baseball jerseys and we put 16 behind them.
GFM on them.
Because that's when our first album came out. But it was, I don't know, Blue was 4.5.
Yeah.
I think I was
4.5.
Yeah.
And we started the band doing cover songs like Matthew West, Skillet, stuff like that. And we never did a name. And I think we don't even remember when,
we were very young.
Our mom was like, why don't you do Gold, Frankincense, and Myrrh? Because you are the 3 gifts God gave to me, because we're all sisters. And there's the story of the 3 gifts that were given to Jesus. And so it's just a cool little correlation. There's not like this huge story of coming together.
Yeah.
It's just like a homage back to faith. And cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, our mom.
That's awesome. Shout out to Cindy. So so you guys were doing this while we were doing jiu-jitsu? Like I had no idea. I remember one day I'm just like, we had been talking a while, and then boom, he had a band, and I was like, how long has this been? Like, how long have you guys been doing this?
Yes. So it was definitely more of just like a hobby, fun thing to do with our parents for a while. Yeah. And then in 2017, we got contacted to do our first tour, and we kind of stepped out of the like hobby type thing. It was more a serious thing, but we still didn't really know how far it could go. And then when we got the opportunity to go on tour for the first time, we're like, man, this could be like our whole like lifestyle. Let's do this thing for real. Like let's try and push this as far as we can. And it's kind of really just snowballed from there, and just all the opportunities that God has brought us are really crazy and just kind of out of nowhere sometimes, but it's really cool, the stuff that we've gotten to do.
So before you got the tour in 2017, were you just posting videos online and just playing for fun at home?
Kind of, yeah. Just doing a lot of
Local
independent
type
things, and where we thought, let's try this avenue, let's try this avenue. We did our first music video. We did a lot of Battle of the Bands, just contacting venues on Craigslist. We did that a lot.
We played a show on the back of
there
like
you go.
one time at a used car sales place.
Goodness.
What?
Yeah, that's like a real thing. And we had a giant like 40-foot banner thing put up behind us, and it was so windy that day it started to take off like a sail.
No.
Like it started to fly off, and our dad had to run get it.
This is the used car sales place. How many people were there? Like, because this is like your first tour, right? Like, were you huge in 2017?
No, that was before our first tour. That was in like
3,000
2015.
followers.
maybe, if that. And we were like, it was before we got contacted for tour. It was before we even wore cheerleader outfits. It was before the first album. I think we were playing songs from Death of Giants, and like that was it. And so like there was obviously the people that were there to like buy cars and stuff, and they were having some sort of festival.
It was like a
thing.
Farmer's market.
So
like that type of people crowd.
So,
and we're playing like Christian rock.
It was a very strange experience.
Like,
There was like a puppy now. We got to meet this
That
little
was
dog.
We meet a lot of cute dogs, especially in outside festivals, and it is adorable.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to meet these dogs. You're lucky.
Little dogs and big dogs.
We just literally saw one yesterday. We were driving on the way to Target, and there was a dog sticking his head out the window, and we were like filming it. We're like, get on camera.
Is that gonna be in the vlog? When the next vlog?
I don't know.
I filmed it vertically, so I don't know if it'll fit on the YouTube thing. I don't know.
We did just see Kane Corso puppy at one of our first Mississippi show we've ever played.
That one isn't a vlog.
That one isn't a vlog, and it was the cutest dog ever. We all took pictures with it like it was our own puppy.
Yeah.
Gosh, oh, that's awesome. And so how did the vlog come about? Was that started before you guys went on tour, or is that like later on as in the what's it called? Tangent from the fans falling in love with you guys?
We started vlogging on our very first tour because
it was Lulu's idea.
Yeah, we loved watching YouTube a lot. We are big YouTube fans, and we watch people vlog all the time, and we honestly just wanted to remember those times, and we wanted to have something to look back on and just rewatch
tour vlogs.
And yeah, our dad was like, oh, we could upload them, and we were like, yeah, let's upload them. And people really loved them, and we were very young, so we didn't really know what we were doing, but we're like, oh, we'll film everything.
And so you can see Lulu's evolution of her hair. It started like her scene things got like smaller and then larger.
You can see the evolution of Lulu's editing skills too, because there was a time when she didn't cut anything out of the videos, and then there was meme edits were really popular, and so they were just meme edited out the room. So, and then there was like a time where like more chill videos were popular, so our videos were kind of like chill more, and then that's not really our style, and so it's too much like wildness for chill videos, and so it's kind of like mellowed out into a nice in between right now. So that's kind of where we're at, but who knows, the meme edits might be coming back.
Yeah, it's just really fun now.
Can't wait.
It's like another outlet to just express ourselves, and also, like you said, you get to show people what it's really like, because our tour vlogs are some of our most favorite to film, because a lot of people think, oh, you're in a band, so you must be riding in a limo 24/7, or
which
like,
we did do that one time for a concert.
Oh, really? Only once?
But we like to show people, like, we went to a Bigfoot excursion.
I saw that. I was like, did you actually find him? Because I didn't watch the whole thing. I was like, it might be punked. Just give me for the views.
We definitely went and found Bigfoot. But yeah, we'd like to do that stuff to just show people, like, there's us on stage and then there's us off stage, and we enjoy that stuff. If I was a fan of a band, I would love to see like what they do off stage and how they take care of their gear, or what they do on their days off.
What they're interested in and everything.
Ours really turned into a lot of food vlogs.
We eat so much.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Do you guys do what? Do you like find out what's the best restaurant and just do a vlog about it, or like
we
all the
really
food you're eating?
try to, if it's not like the best restaurant in the area, we always try to eat somewhere that we can't at the house, or like in Jacksonville. We try to find the like staple of that
there
area.
You go.
So,
shout out to them.
It's the one rule: you're not allowed to eat at fast food places or places you can eat at Florida. You have to eat somewhere new,
unless it's like 1 a.m. Taco Bell.
Yeah.
You can't go home and talk about 1 a.m.
I can get down.
We try not to. I recently got into like my health journey and
gut health stuff.
That stuff's so awful, but it tastes so good. Battle that I deal with daily.
Oh my! It's easy when you're like alone and maybe living alone and stuff. But when you're like friends, roommates, your sisters, it's like eating healthy. It's fun and all. But eating Snickers and cookies and cupcakes is way better. Like, why not eat Taco Bell 2 a.m.?
It is so easy when we're home to eat good, but on the road, it's like you're at a gas station. Maybe I should grab some peanut M&Ms. I'm kind of hungry. Oh, an icy sounds really great right now.
I get into juicing, which really helps. But I was like, oh my word, how am I supposed to do this? Because I have my own garden, so I grow my own greens and then I juice it. And I don't know how I was gonna do that on the road, but I finally figured out.
One of those like little window plants and stick it on the van.
Yeah,
You could. Try it out.
Off of the roof, you have
Or
your
we have
little
like a
dirt
solar
compost thing.
garden.
That's
We should do that.
Oh my word.
We have a greenhouse on top of the van.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you have like the dirt, like.
I mean, I
compost
feel like you could. Like, people do the kayaking little things when they go traveling.
Yeah.
And so I could just have like a greenhouse on top. That's kind of smart.
But she found like prepackaged juices
Yeah, I found prepackaged juices, which are
at
great.
Target, and they like have all the clean ingredients. They're not like full of preservatives.
Has ginger.
and stuff.
Ginger's great for your health.
Immunity
Cayenne
and stuff.
pepper.
It's not the
That-
bad ones that fake it and say they're healthy,
Yeah.
but not really.
Read the ingredients.
Yeah. Don't drink
There you
the
go.
stuff that's full of, like
Sodium
nasty
benzoate,
stuff.
all that stuff. No.
Oh yeah. So my guy tells me all the time. He's like, you don't really know what's in your food and drinks, and don't drink it.
It's
Right.
true.
Alright.
If you can't pronounce it, you might want to Google it, figure it out.
That's something that we learned in jiu-jitsu. They
Yeah,
learned
our
like
instructor.
if you can't pronounce what it's saying, don't eat it.
Yeah.
It's
And
true.
I don't, but you know.
Or just research it, because sometimes there's like big words that I don't really know, but it's like chlorophyll, like that. The green
the
stuff.
green drops.
The green drops.
Did you say you can't read?
No, like some of the words, like, I don't know. Vitamins are good.
Yeah.
No, that's like, it's like
Water.
she's not allowed to be in the interview anymore.
Water.
Yeah. Get out of here, Lulu. So
where do
let's
you
go
guys,
back. Oh,
ages?
you got.
What do you guys? What are your ages?
Oh, Maggie is 20, I'm 22, and Lou is 17.
Oh, okay. Because KB's familiar. He knows you all, so I didn't really get that much background. So I was like, oh, what's the age bracket? Awesome.
You're good.
Okay.
How does it feel to be a young band? Does it feel intimidating?
At first it did, because we were like scared to
Yeah. It's a whole
ask
nother
for
realm.
things and be like, hey, can we actually do it this way? This is the way we do it. But kind of growing up, we've learned how to have thick skin and to like stand our
Yeah.
ground.
And there's
Um,
nothing wrong with asking questions,
yeah.
too.
And
So I
so
feel like it's helped us in a lot of situations because everyone's like, "Oh, how do you do TikTok?"
it's like, well, we're on TikTok all the time.
Yeah, so it's actually helped us in that situation.
Yeah, and we recently, well, not like super recently, it was like 2 years, so we have like a new rig and like how to run things on stage. And so at first it was like very nerve-wracking because we didn't know it 100%, and so being younger and asking for more advanced stuff for some like sound guys who were used to doing it more of an old school way was really intimidating, because if they had questions, I didn't know how to answer them. But now when we go to like perform stuff, if they're like, oh, I don't really want to do it that way, and it's like, well, this is how we do it, and they're like, okay.
Literally, you have to build confidence to be in this industry, because you will just get walked all over because,
Yeah.
I don't know, I love the music industry, but there's just some mean people in there. And
So
really
we
good
learned
people,
how to put our foot down, because
because we go as a unit, it's
Yeah.
not just one person going.
it's like, you're gonna listen to GFM because this is
Yeah.
how we like respectfully, please
And
listen to us.
both of them, I necessarily didn't get into it because, I don't know, it couldn't connect for me, but they
the
know
gear
so much,
head
like,
type stuff.
but the software.
Oh,
They
yeah.
know so much about the software, where there's like the tech or the language of it just goes straight over my head.
Yeah,
And
it's just like, you guys got it.
We can run our own
CJs
stuff.
are like if someone messes, we send her after them though. So like,
Oh, yeah.
like,
There
we
you
make
go.
She's our extrovert.
she'll go
I
and
will.
And plus, she's
Good
really
luck.
good at, like, if I'm having to deal with a sound guy and, like, having to explain how to run it, she knows how to run all the cables and stuff. And so she's really good at doing that. So it
Yeah, putting all
saves
the
me
stuff
a
together.
heart attack having
We
to,
have
like,
our own system.
Yeah,
That's really
it's really
important.
great.
Know how to run your own stuff and know how to have backups in case it breaks.
yeah.
we may be
Oh no.
But-
Okay.
you know just as much or more than everyone. The
No,
older
listen,
people.
no. The real thing is we may be young, but we have lost about 40 years of our life due to stress of things breaking on stage. And so I have learned how to do stuff. So please don't bother me when I'm in a freak out mode.
Well, I gotta hear these stories. So you're telling me that you guys were performing and then something just goes wrong, and then like,
Yeah.
how did you handle it?
My amp goes out. Cords have gone out.
Yeah, there's been a
Our
show
computer
The computer is
overheated.
overheated.
or freezes. Playing in literally negative 2 degrees.
There was a show we played on the first.
Strings will break.
Yeah, the first tour we did, the computer overheated because we left it outside and it was a summer tour, and so it wouldn't turn on. We had like a backup iPod, and we had to learn how to plug it in and send like click to only left,
That gives you
and
stress
like
thinking about it.
all of the like tracks and stuff like that, like background synths to like right, and we had to learn how to plug that into like a DI box and stuff, and we just had to learn that on the fly because we
I'm
like
stressed.
kind of had knowledge, we didn't really know how to do it, and so we're like, maybe do this, and my Kemper has completely gone out because it wasn't updated all the way in the middle of a tour, because I updated before we left. But in the middle of the tour, an update came out, and so it just shut down and wouldn't turn on. And so I had to have somebody like lend me their cab to play through.
Yeah.
So it's
Sticks
just
have broken.
sticks have broken.
Cymbals have broken.
Lou put her foot through her drum head one time.
Stands
No.
up.
Input fell out, and so I had to use a whole new amp
Yeah.
and rewire in, or not rewire, from like the sound guy
Rerun the line and everything.
Yeah, that was
My favorite is when my in-ears go out because I'm supposed to be like the one who's
Lou
keeping
is
everyone on
literally
track.
the
And so if
anchor.
if my in-ears or any of my stuff goes out, literally everyone else's stuff go
yeah,
out.
it all is like landing
So,
on Lou's shoulders.
That's like
That's why she has back problems.
on the track, like if it sounds like it's skipping, I'm like, I start to pray. I'm like, oh please, please, please no.
Yeah, no, the worst thing is when you are freaking out because something won't turn on, and then at the last minute you realize it just wasn't plugged in the back of the box, and that literally sends so much nerves and anxiety, but also rage through my body. It's too much for my body to
We
handle.
were playing a show, Metal in the Mountains, we always remember, and we were going
We run
on.
our own in-ears, so
This
that
is a
way
big festival.
we can
We
like control
played-
what we hear.
We played with Chelsea Grin and
All that remains.
Traders, All That Remains. Like, this is a big outside festival, and you know that you have 5-minute changeover, and if you like go further and have other bands cut their songs, everyone hates you, and you're blacklisted, and
Plus
you're
we're
not allowed to
girls,
play
plus
again.
we're young.
No.
And so they already are like, you have a vendetta against you because
Because
they
we
think
have 3 minutes.
And
Damn,
so
you guys do so much crap.
and I don't know how Maggie did it. We like rewired everything, and our click was going through the sound, so we just had to like roll with it. You could hear like the 1, 2, 3, 4. We're like, oh, that's part of the set.
like nobody cared live because they just thought it was a good show, but literally so much rage happened in my body.
Because a
And
wire wasn't plugged in.
It wasn't even, no, everything was plugged in. The switch got turned off in the middle of the box. It just needed to be turned
no.
on. And that was it. That was the whole problem. I was calling our sound tech guy. I was like, I don't know what's wrong. I think we have to rewire the whole thing. I was
Yeah.
resyncing all the
That
packs.
was
I had
awful.
reset everything in the entire box and it still wasn't working. And I found that the switch literally wasn't turned on. It was,
So don't feel bad if something like that happens.
Yeah,
'cause it happens to
a lot of
everyone.
things have gone wrong, but also we're like as we go forward in our career and as we play more shows, especially on like the tour we're on now and everything, it's starting to be like, oh, not as many things go wrong.
yeah, all
Like,
the bumps are smoothing out. You know to
Okay.
check.
To check if something
yeah,
is not
like
You know to
oh,
check
this-
all the
that was
plugins.
smooth. Like that, there's a little less stress. A
And
little more
if things
fun.
aren't turned on, you know what to go to check to make sure
No.
it's not live.
Like our
not
packs
turned
will be
and
on
stuff.
mute, and we're freaking out and trying to see if everything's plugged in right. And like, oh, the pack's on
Yeah,
mute.
see, there's like thing won't be working out. Walk up, unmute
That's
her,
so
and then
tough.
she'll walk up, unmute
Yeah.
me.
So, you know, we definitely had our bumps and like funny things that we can call back on,
Yeah.
which everyone's gonna have those, but we are getting like a more smoother ride, and it's a lot less stressful, especially because we've gotten more knowledge. You know, we ask questions to everyone we meet, and we're not afraid to learn more and admit we need to learn more. So
But I think that comes with growing as a band as well. You just over the years you put in your time, and so you kind of know what you're doing after all those bumps in the road.
So we're very appreciative of everyone we've met that's helped us
Mhm.
like fix our stuff and get better stuff, get stuff that won't break as easily or like go out. So it's a lot more smoother now.
Yeah.
How did you maintain your sanity with all these things breaking? Were you just like, we need to
roll
have a
with it.
system?
What are you gonna do
we
about it?
are
Cry?
a little bit crazy. People that meet us are like, "Oh wow, you're a little bit crazy." But you know,
Why did they say that? Because
maybe I don't know why. But if you watch us on stage, we really put all of our hearts out into it. So it's a great outlet for us, and you just kind of get to like thrash around on stage, and so
Yeah.
it gets all of that out, so you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Plus, it helps us in our regular day-to-day life. Like, we'll be going to the beach, and we're like, hey, we need a backup towel in
Yeah.
case we don't use it. And someone's like, backup towel?
You go.
We're just like, yeah, like, you know, when we go on stage, we have a bunch of backup, so obviously we need a
Yeah,
backup,
it's
like,
like,
if we're going to the
We
beach.
need to bring
It's like,
food in the car for when we're done eating at the beach, in case someone gets hungry. We have food in the car.
like, why do you think like this?
These things go wrong. It's like what my mom always said. It's like, just in case. And I was like, well, just like it's never gonna happen. And then it started to happen. So now I'm like, all right, just in case, get this and that. Crazy. So let's go way back to when you guys started learning music. For anybody who wants to get into music, like, what was the process like learning it? Was it like consistent every day? Did you have like once a week? Like, how did you get to where you are now? Because I'm assuming at one point you were not good.
I feel like it's
Everyone's a beginner, yeah.
It depends on your passion. I know some people, they like Marco. He is
in a band amongst the Giants.
I mean, he plays for
and he fills in for Disciple. And
he told me he played for 16 hours a day, and he played so much that he had a blister. And when the blister popped, it was a guitar string part fell out of it.
Yeah.
So he was playing constantly, and he is amazing.
He's a shredder.
It really depends on your passion. If how much you want to play. I personally just like playing a couple hours a day, maybe not even a couple hours. Sometimes I just don't play at all, because for me, if I play too much into something, then I end up hating it. And so this is like GFM's my life and my day. Sometimes you just let it go, and then you come back to it. I mean, we write super heavily for weeks on end, and then we don't write at all.
Yeah.
And just for us, we go back and forth, kind of letting it sit. And then
especially when you come home from tour, like when we get home from this tour, we probably won't play for a little bit, just because you don't want to like burn yourself out on anything.
We just lie there like.
So we kind of just always tell people, like, do what works best for you. If you're playing for hours on hours, it's helping you and you are enjoying it, then keep doing it. But if you're like having to force yourself to it and you're like, I don't want to play anymore, then take a break, you know? No one's like forcing you to keep playing, because it's better to not burn out.
And if it's we did start though when we were like 5 years old, and it was like a once a week lesson. You go there, they teach you your theory book, you practice there, and then you come home, you practice through the week, and then you go back like once a week there. And so when we were younger, it was more of an everyday thing. Our mom would set a timer. She's like, okay, you need to practice for this amount every day. And it got us into the habit of like learning music. And so now that we're old enough to kind of keep songs memorized and stuff, it's more of just kind of growing in like our trade and everything instead of practicing the songs, because the songs are more muscle memory now. So it's more just kind of keeping yourself in love with the music instead of like hammering it over your head.
Make it more joyful than like work.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Really
and so if somebody wanted to learn piano, for instance, like right now at the beginning, what should they focus on? Like learn how to play a song or fundamentals, or what would your advice be?
The best way that they learn, because when we started, it was very much theory laden, and we have.
If you want to know how to write music, you do theory.
Yeah. Well, that's not even necessarily true either, because some people write by ear.
That's true.
So when we started, because we were very young, our parents and obviously like the music teachers like valued theory, and so we learned how to like read music when we were young and that sort of thing. But also like once we got older, we learned how to play songs because we wanted to learn the things that we were like interested in and singing at the time, and those songs also ended up being above our skill level, and so it helped heighten our skill.
If you wanted to learn by ear, you just pick a song and then you just
try to
fiddle around until you can play it. But if you want to learn by theory, like the bones of something, which I think is important to learn theory, I personally don't. Like, it's important to.
It's important, but I don't do it.
Theory is very, very difficult. So if you are,
but if you understand especially piano theory, then you can really play any instrument because you know
piano's connected to a lot of stuff.
We know some theory. I'm saying
we're not like theory scholars.
We know theory because I went to
Lula really knows
theory a lot for the drumming stuff. I know theory a lot because I stayed in piano a lot longer than CJ did.
I go more for tab sheets. I love looking at
like the numbers.
Me writing it out and playing it.
CJ's a big numbers person.
I'm not like a notes. I like tabs though.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. And so then you guys both have different strengths and weaknesses. How did you all bring it together to form what is now like a top #1 band? Like, how'd you know what to choose from each other?
It's not just an overall, like we didn't just meet each other. Like for instance, like if you're friends, it's not gonna click even over a year. I don't think.
Well, we're all sisters. We grew up together and we live together.
And we still have to figure things out.
We still,
the band.
You gotta know the person, you have to be able to be humble enough to compromise.
Yeah.
You have to have daily talks, because if you don't have that communication, then it will crumble and fall with a minute.
You start to get bitter and hold things, even if it's like you didn't mean something in that way, but somebody took it wrong, and so then you become bitter, and it's like, why are you mad at me? And you're like, I don't know, but I'm mad at you.
It's really over like that really break hands. So you got to be humble.
Yeah,
you
communication is key. Like talking things out. We've really learned that we do have different strengths, and so it's really important to see things from the other person's point of view, because while I may think it's really important to write a song this way, if CJ doesn't see, like, if her perception's not the same, then she might value another thing, like, to add to the song. And so if I take a second to look at it from her point of view, I'm like, oh, that's true, that does kind of add to it, instead of me just being stubborn, like, no, I only want to write the song my way, not your way.
Because you'll see, when we tell people, they're like, how are you all sisters and you don't fight? Well, it's like, we do fight, but then, like, have you not broken up? And it really is because of communication. It's like a big thing. People are like, oh yeah, whatever. No, like, that is the thing that keeps bands together.
And so for anybody who's maybe confused of what communication means, is that just like you guys are constantly like on terms of like, this is what we're doing today, we're training today, like it's kind of like that kind of communication where like everybody knows what's going on and nobody's left to like assumptions or confusion?
Yeah, it's a little bit like that, and it's also if somebody has an issue, or if you can see somebody is upset by something, even if it's not your fault, you deal with it. You sit the person down and say, we're gonna fix this before it gets bad, or like if there's an issue,
we're gonna take a second, everyone's gonna breathe, and then we'll come back together.
It's very much talking things out, and
because how are you supposed to play a show and have that connection on stage, especially with the high intensity of what we do? And we just love having fun. I think that's a huge difference from when people see us play, is like, you just look like you're having so much fun, when we're supposed to relay that when like we hate each other. Like, that is so fake, and I never want to do that on my face, so I can never be like the fake, oh my word, I love you, and like I want to like choke you out.
It's very much talking things out and being honest with each other, and like figuring out what the root of the problem is, and like destroying that problem.
And that's amazing quality too, not just in like what you do in work, but your family, your relationships. I mean, that's just a great quality in life, to be able to actually figure things out and not let it blow up, and then years later you got something huge.
Yeah, left wondering why, like what happened.
Yeah, no, that's tough to deal with situations where people kind of can't communicate, and then things happen, and it's left to like years, and it's like we could have just resolved that today, but instead became this huge thing.
It's not just, oh, you need to communicate.
And we've had
communication is difficult.
We've had to learn, especially because we are all kind of introverted inclined. Sina is definitely the most extroverted out of all of us, but most of the time, if we get angry, we just like internalize it, and so it's taken a few years to learn how to be vocal about that, and to
but especially
be honest
in family,
with each other.
You can be petty, and so it's like you don't want to break that pettiness. Like, you can feel it at the same time. You're like, oh, I really shouldn't be.
You're
having
like,
this
you want
attitude,
to let it go, but you don't.
But you can't let it go
because we are very prideful as well, and so we have to have the last word.
Stubborn.
Like, you can't do that, even though your body's like, we need to fight back.
Oh my goodness. Now, is there anything you've taken from the jiu-jitsu days and you've applied that to your life now? Any lessons?
Yeah, 100%. People are scary and weird. Very important to even have that confidence or presence that if you come to me, like, you're gonna have problems.
Ourselves,
yeah. Because people walk around, they're like, you look really confident. You could like take someone on. I'm like, you need that so people don't think you're a weakling and take you.
And also just the team aspect, like being a team and being there for each other, and
you watch each other's back.
You might not always win. You might not always win your sparring match. You might not always win at something in life. But when your team's there to hype you up and still be there for you, you still feel okay.
Yeah, and it was something we did growing up with our dad, and so it's kind of the same as when we used to go to tournaments. When we go on stage, he's always there cheering us on and everything. And so it's that like kind of rush that you get. And so it's helped us not only like just be able to perform well and like endurance wise, and like you have to be physically fit to perform stuff on stage, which is something we learned kind of the hard way at one
don't
point.
understand that like you can just like eat pizza and then run on stage for about an hour.
You will get sick and
you have
throw
to
up.
factor in you're playing a heat festival where it's high humidity, high extreme heat, outside, chalking around, meeting people, which we love. We're not saying like, oh, we hate this. You have to,
you have to prepare yourself.
Eat certain food because
drink water.
Yeah, if you are not prepared with your body, you will throw up on stage, pass out, and not be able to do what you love. So it's like training for, we call it like boot camp.
Yeah.
So.
Which, and also we've been blessed with very respectful fans who really support us and love us, and they would do anything for us, which is like way more than anything we could ever ask for. But we do play some sketchy places, and you know, sometimes the venues are not in the greatest part of town, and so we know to go in pairs, and we know like if something happens, what we would do to defend ourselves, which is it's
but there's nothing wrong with that too.
Yeah, I think everyone honestly should
always be aware,
like learn how to be aware of things. Like every time we go in, like we know where the exits are, we know like
not just girls,
where to run and everything if something happens. But also, I just think anyone should learn at least like one class, like a self-defense class, because it really gives you that confidence where it's like if something were to happen, I know I at least had a chance instead of like I would just be like out immediately.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the key thing that we always learn is like you gotta be prepared for the worst, because even though like you might call for help, like you need to take care of the situation and then get out of there so that you're safe. But yeah, no, I love that because it's jiu-jitsu is a big part of our lives and it helped shape who we are today. But now, so you said that you had to deal with people walking all over you, or you said you have to stand strong because people might walk all over you. So like if you had any situations where you were like, oh no, like you had to handle someone coming at you and being like, you're gonna do it this way, and you're like, no, we're gonna do it this way.
We've had a few experiences with sound people because, you know, some of the venues we play, they are used to doing it more of an old school way, which is completely fine. That's how we grew up playing. But with our new equipment that we have, it helps it helps the show sound so much better and so much like the record. And it helps because we have in-ears, and so we can hear what's going on, and it's better than running monitors because it's safer for your ears. You can control the level of volume on stage and stuff. And so sometimes they don't really want to either give control over that, or they just don't really know what that is, and so they don't want to do it. And so we have to like put our foot down and say like, no, this is how we run our show. We don't do it the other way. Like there's not a possible way. We can't do the show without this.
And they'll be like rude and try to like talk down and be passive aggressive. Really? And we're like, roll off. You're like, okay, whatever. I mean, we're gonna do it our way. Not like a rude way, but we have to.
Yeah, once they figure out how to do it, it's a lot better because they don't have to worry about like running monitors and running all this. And once they see us live, they're like, oh, okay. They do know what they're talking about. It's fine. And like usually after the show, they're like, we come back and we talk to the sound guy. They're like, oh no, you were great. Like I just didn't know what you were talking about. Like it was fine now. And so it's really cool just to be able to like fix the thing. Like if something has like been an issue, it's usually there's resolution at the end of the show because they liked the show and they just didn't really understand what we were talking about at first. Or the worst thing is sometimes tech writers aren't sent, and so they just are caught off guard, and they're like, I wish I would have gotten a tech writer because then I would have known what you were talking about. So a lot of times it's just a miscommunication through different things.
Another thing with communication, we always try to make sure, like not just from us, but if someone had a problem with us or stuff got sent wrong, that we go and we fix it with that person because we value every person that helped us in the show or even came to the show.
The sound guy literally is the only reason you sound good.
So we always try to be like, hey, what's a common ground? Like, thank you for running the sound. Like, I'm sorry, it was caught off guard. And that has really made a huge difference because you just want to be respectful for everyone. I mean, everyone's just doing their own thing, and you don't know if they had a bad day or if you came on the wrong foot. So you just got to make sure you got to be nice to everyone no matter what situation.
That's true. That's very gracious.
You never know who you're gonna meet. You never know who's gonna help you out. Also, you never know. They might have a bad day. If you're nice and kind, they'll be like, wait a minute, forget. I was having a bad day. You guys are great. Let's move on.
Which, I mean, you would want someone to make sure, like, that was the real you, or that you could have a second chance on who you were if you came off on the wrong foot. Because you can't help that sometimes, and you can't help if what you said affected someone else, because everyone's feelings are valid. So,
absolutely.
You guys are so humble because you guys are like able to do what you want to do, and I feel like nothing about GFM is like fake or something you guys don't want to do. Like, how have you kept it where it's just everything that you wanted to do? Like,
Our mom told us she would
yeah.
slap us if we were prideful.
And also, like CA said, it would kind of be obvious to our fans if we were doing something we didn't want to do.
And you would
Because we
burn
are
out
so open with them.
easily
Yeah.
if you hated what you did over and
So
over and over.
we definitely just try to keep the band. Like, there's been things we've had to turn down, and like people are like, "Oh, you could have done this, and your band could have been 10 times bigger." And we don't care about that, you know. We want it to be
honest.
what we like us. We don't want it to be anything fake. So
One of the first things someone told us, like, you need to buy your followers to look bigger, and then people will think that you're bigger. And we're like, why would we do that? I don't know. It didn't like.
That's the
connect.
worst advice I've ever heard. Like, what?
That's
a lot-
so inawesome.
It works. So I'm like, oh, they're
Yeah.
bigger. Let's buy them because of their social media. A lot of people
Yeah.
only work with you because if you have big social media impact. So
Screw them.
I mean, thinking is there, but that's not what we
Yeah.
wanted to do with what our platform is and how we connected. I mean,
And we've had the opportunity to like grow with our
Yeah.
fans, and so
that's a big reason
it's
why we do
like a
GFM.
community, and that's why it's such like an avid thing, and like our fans are very much like similar to the My Chemical Romance fans, where like they are the fans because you know we grew up being open with them, and so that's kind of the only thing we know how to do, and so anybody else who joins the fandom, it's like, oh, well, welcome to the family. Like, you're part of the family now. Like, we're going to be best friends and carpool to the shows together.
if we're gonna do this for like our life, there's no way you can be fake for that long.
Yeah.
So it's like we're not
Yeah.
gonna act do anything that's not us because there's no way we're gonna be able to keep up with it.
Mm-hmm. No, that's well said. It's like, why, if you're gonna be doing this forever, why make it stressful? We have to fake and lie about stuff. Just be who you are.
Yeah.
And so I want to get into the Beautycore genre. You created it on your own, right? It's like something, the combination of like, what's the combination of?
So it's our music was kind of metalcore-ish, and we just had a ton of people telling us we weren't metalcore, we weren't metal, we weren't like whatever. And so we jokingly called ourselves Beautycore because, you know, we wore lipstick and we wore dresses on stage and we were girly, and it was very much a tongue-in-cheek thing. And when the bands that we played with found out, they're like, that's really cool, you should like put it on a shirt or something. And so we did, and everyone's like, oh, this is really cool, and people are buying shirts and like hashtagging Beautycore. And there's a lot of bands that we have gotten the opportunity to play with who are like female led or all female, and so they are like, they're using the hashtag Beautycore, and it's like this women in metal music kind of like movement type thing, which is so fun. So yeah.
And you started it, right? You started this movement.
We did. It was
How does
our,
it feel? You're
our
like, whoa, we've
so
had
now
an
it's a real
impact.
thing.
Oh, that's crazy. And so then what's also the music process like when you're writing a song? How does that go?
It's very different.
Every single time.
Every single time, because sometimes we write a song because of a concept that came up that one of us wanted to write about. Sometimes we have a cool riff. Sometimes we write with other people. So if other people bring us stuff, we're like, that's amazing, we're gonna go off that. It really is just a combination of different things, and we kind of just go for it. Yeah, it's not just one certain way. Like, what's the formula to write the best song? There is no formula. And if someone tries to sell you a pamphlet of you need to do this, this, and this, they are doing that wrong.
Yeah, we
Don't listen
literally.
to that.
It's
Don't
so
listen
funny.
to them. Run away.
Yeah, we have to be like writing with people who are on the same wavelength as us, because we are very scatterbrained when it comes to writing, and we're just throwing out ideas and ideas and ideas, and people are talking over each other, and we're like,
That's
oh,
what
what
the
about
best
this?
stuff-
And what about this?
Because it's true. It's true passion and true, like,
Emotions
what's the
and
key word?
Feeling
Like,
and
origin story kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
And so like the whole time
Hey.
we try to like, if we're not laughing the whole time, then it's not a good session.
Unless we're writing about a serious song.
If we're writing about a serious song, then yeah. But then we also try to like put riffs in there or screams in there that are so like crazy that it makes us laugh, because it's like, people are not gonna believe this is us, but this is hilarious.
And the first time I heard a song, I was like, oh, this is nice. And then you started screaming. I was like, whoa, was not expecting this at all. And then I've seen some YouTube comments where they say you scream better than most men. And I was like, damn. So how do you feel about those type of comments?
It's really empowering, because at first we didn't really know if we could do it or not, and I was very much like, I'm gonna hurt my voice if I do this. And now it's just like such a fun thing to do. And we love the shock factor of like when we come out on stage and they're like, oh, it's gonna be a pop band, and like I start screaming, Cedar starts playing riffs, like Liz is doing like double kicks and stuff. They're like, what? And like that's so fun, and we're just having fun the whole time, and it's just great.
Very radical.
Exactly. And so you were saying having fun, and going back to what you were saying before, if they're gonna do this for the rest of your life, like it's the idea is that you should do something that brings you enjoyment, because like you guys feel what successful and fulfilled right now, right?
Yeah, which is the thing we've been asked. They're like, when do you think you're gonna make it? It's like, well, we're making it right now. Like we have fans that are so close to us. Like we have family all over the world. We have people that we know from Australia and like Germany and like South America, like Brazil and Canada and all over the US and stuff. And we wouldn't have had those opportunities if we wouldn't have started the band in the first place. And you know, it's having like being able to go on stage and seeing people sing your words is successful enough for us, and being able to reach people and getting those comments and messages and a conversation that shows like saying how we helped somebody stop cutting, or we helped somebody like get away from their addiction, or anything like that, like, or we gave someone a place to call home, like that's making it for us. That's successful for us.
Yeah.
And I don't think if you had 100 million followers or more money, it would change. And like, you don't need that to feel successful. Like you've already made it. So like, yeah, it's right to avoid the people being like, oh, go buy followers. It's like, we made it. We're successful. What is more gonna bring us? Just more people to help out. Like good, but I think people get confused and they think that like the success is something so different from their life now. Like it's got to be like I got mansions and yachts and the whole world is bowing down to me. It's like no, success is whatever you make of it. It could be inspiring 1,000 people, 10,000, 20. It doesn't have to be this huge grand thing. And I feel like this here is a great example of your band is inspiring people. You feel fulfilled, successful. Like that's it. That's all you need in life. Why want more when this is enough?
Yeah, exactly, and we're not even doing GFM for success. Like if we play a show to 2 people, like we're okay with that as long as we're able to share our truth with them. And like we said, we are Christians, so we don't want to force the gospel onto anyone, but we do want to share our truth, and we love praying for people and just being there and talking to people. So it doesn't matter if we play for 2 or 2,000. Like we could care less. We just want to be there with people.
We've played for more than 2 people recently, like in the last couple of years, so we're grateful that it hasn't just been 2 people.
Yeah. Did you sell out at one place? And you were like, whoa. This GFM thing came out of nowhere. I remember when like we stopped doing jiu-jitsu, and I was just like, where did this come from? And, like, and then Bradley told, like, he did a music video with you guys, and I was like, damn, this is so good. I was like, they made it. I remember when it first came, I was like, they did it. They're famous. Oh my god. Actually, I want to get into that, the music videos. What were they like filming those?
It was really crazy because definitely the first video we filmed with Bradley was the Give Me a Sign video, and it felt like we were on a movie set because all the videos we had filmed before were just like playing type videos, and we'd had like certain sing parts, but it was mostly just playing like either in the woods or in an abandoned house type thing. But this was like on a set. There was doctor equipment everywhere. We were in scrubs. We were running from like the evil people society type thing. And like I was having to fight people. They were like coaching me how to do like fake fighting within like the 5 minutes before we had to film it. And so they're like, okay, do this, but don't hit them. But like if you hit them, that's okay. And so it was very like it was so surreal, and it was so strange. And then we did the like sequels to those videos, and it was like 17-hour shoots and like a 20-hour shoot, and it's like everyone was so tired at the end of it, but we knew it was gonna look so cool.
Yeah. And then the most recent ones that we've actually put out, we've done ourselves because of COVID. We wanted to like keep the people, I guess, just stay at our house. You know, we didn't want to not follow the rules, and so we actually did it ourselves. We filmed and edited it, and we've filmed I think 3 music videos now ourselves.
We did the Smile video. We spray painted a closet in our house, and like that's just in a closet. And then
the Christmas music video,
was on the
and
beach.
then Where Were You just came out. And that's been really fun too, to work on it and see that like, oh, we can do this ourselves. Like, that's cool. Like, let's do it ourselves if we can do it ourselves. So it's been really fun. They're really fun to film and watch back.
No, they're awesome. I mean, I've always been curious, like, how do people come up with what's going to be in the music video? Because when you watch them, they're so, like random. And
out of nowhere. It's not like, I mean, sometimes you sit down and like, okay, what are we going to do? But also we could just be, since we are all sisters, we're in the band, we're literally constantly together. Mm-hmm. So we'll be driving down the road to like go grocery shopping. And we're like, oh my goodness, I just came up with the best idea. And so it literally comes out of nowhere, at least for us personally. I mean, some bands might sit down and be like, this is what we're going to do, plan it all out. But for us, it just works better if we it just comes to us. And then we're like, all right, we're going to do it. Let's do it.
I think for the Give Me a Sign video, we had like a storyboard with Bradley and everything. And then after that, it kind of was like, we kind of had a storyboard for the next few, but it was more just like coming up with stuff on the fly and building this world of like bad society against GFM, who somehow has secret superpowers, but you don't really get into the like details of all that stuff is yet. And it's something that we really love. We love like all the Marvel comics and like DC comics and all the stuff like that. Like Lights put out her own graphic novel, and it's very much just like dystopian type novel stuff, which we were all like huge fans of when that was like the biggest #1 genre in like reading and like movies and stuff. And so we try to like incorporate at the end of like all the videos we do, we'll put like little sneak peeks at the like, for like teaser things like Marvel would do, like their post-credit scenes and stuff. And other than that, I don't think there's been ever like a storyboard for any of our music videos. And for like the Where Were You video we just put out, the only reason we knew there was a castle in St. Augustine is because a friend of ours was filming drone footage for like their marketing, and they were like, hey, you need to film a video, there's a castle in St. Augustine. We're like, okay, we'll just get some footage. Let's do that really quick.
But so like for even like the shots, right? Like there's no plan. Like, well, there might be a little bit of planning, but you kind of just wing it. Because I've always been confused, like, how do they know the shots can be good with this part of the song, and like,
so the shots are
just fall in the air?
Yeah. So when we did the music videos with other people, the team had the whole plan and everything. So we just kind of showed up and we played and we did a bunch of takes. And then when we film it ourselves, I am the viewer and editor, so I will write out like the plan and all the shots we need and all the different angles we need. And it just kind of, there's not really a good way to explain it because it all is in my head. Like, and I know that that's how a lot of other people work. Because like
you can see it in your head.
Yeah, like I can see, oh, this shot will work with this piece and this shot will work with this piece. Mm-hmm. And it's very hard and complicated to explain that to people. Like, I see it, and the only way I'm going to be able to show you is if you just do it and let me edit it, and then I can show you. And that's what's going to look like.
Really good on that. There are times, too, when Lou's like, hey, I need you to do this. It doesn't have to look a specific way, but I need you to do this for this part of the song. And, like, you just kind of play it and, like, go for it. She's like, okay, that was really good. In this part of the song, I just need you to put a little more energy or, like, do a little more headbang in this part. And so, like, there's not specific stuff. It's the general aspect of it, and then you get into, like, you add your own flair to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's awesome.
Wow, that's an interesting process. Because it's just hard. It's like it's weird to like talk to people who are so good at something and be like, "How did you do it?" And they're like, "Well, I just see it." And I'm like, "Oh, when I need to see it, right?" You know. But like, they're really is it though? Sometimes it's like half the battle.
Yeah, it's just you just
it's
do
hard
it.
to explain stuff sometimes because it just comes so naturally. You don't really know how you did it sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Again, I guess that's where the magic lies. It's just, but it comes from practice though. So like even in your video where you did the day in the life, but even explaining you started when younger, it came from like practicing to get to a point where you can then actually make that vision you had happen. Because before you could have that vision, be like, I have no resources or tools to make it happen, but now you do. And so now we have these amazing music videos, amazing band. So it's the hard part of getting through that gap between beginner and then there's just years and years of practice, and I guess it's just hard for people to realize that. It's like you're going to take a long time to get there. Or maybe not. Just some people are more gifted. Yeah.
Too. Like we're like obsessed with bands growing up, and so we studied them to a T, like learning how they performed on stage and how their videos turned out and how they looked. And so a lot of it was imitation at first, like learning how to do their moves, and then once you get them down, you figure out how to make it your own. And so that has helped as well, and it's kind of helped you learn how to do things if you don't really know how to do it. It's watching somebody who's already a professional doing it and trying to do it, and then you realize, oh, this is the steps of how to do it, because you kind of have to figure it out.
Exactly. And so I'm curious, what do you guys see GFM being in the next 5 years?
We always get asked this question, and we
Also, just doing the same thing,
Yeah.
living our life.
we really
Answer.
feel like there's this buzz around us right now, and we are gaining like a ton of followers on all of our social medias, which is really crazy, and like stuff is coming out of the woodworks in certain areas, and so we really do see a lot of growth, and we're hoping that we'll be doing lots bigger tours, lots bigger things, but definitely, yeah, we'll still be on the road trying to reach as many people as possible, because that's what we're doing it for. And you know,
whatever God calls us to do,
Yeah.
honestly.
COVID can't stop us. We played, I think, 6
There you
shows
go.
in the pandemic, and
A lot of online stuff though, which
yeah,
is really
we did
fun.
learn how to utilize
We started
every
streaming
online
on Twitch
platform.
and YouTube. We've been playing a bunch of video
Yeah.
games, like streaming on there.
Fortnite?
We have
Yeah,
played
I played
Fortnite a few
Fortnite.
times. Listen, I hated Fortnite at first, but we played it.
Why?
And I am a boss at Fortnite, okay, on the Switch. I can play Fortnite so good.
I mean, getting all those dubs. The Switch is actually pretty easy to play on too. I played on it. It's
Yeah,
just cool with all the new little like robots and aliens and stuff coming at you.
Yeah, I have like the alien, like the xenomorph in the cheerleader like pom-pom thing with a cheerleader backpack.
Nice. I love
It
that.
just like exemplifies me.
Awesome. And so before we wrap it up, I would like to let you give advice to people who are starting out and want to get to where you are. Maybe any like advice or tips or mistakes you might have made that they can avoid.
So our alarm just went off.
This is the last
Yeah,
question we're wrapping up.
Okay.
Our mom came in.
It's all good. That's why I was like, let's wrap it up because it's probably that time. But yeah, any advice for aspiring musicians?
Definitely, we were talking about this the other day. Make
Yeah.
sure it's something you love, because it does take a lot of hard work behind the scenes, and there's stuff that you have to do to promote yourself nowadays that bands back in like the 80s and 90s didn't have to do. And you can very well make it independently because social media is such a big platform, but it does take a ton of hard work, and a lot of times people don't understand how much work goes into it. So definitely make sure it's something you absolutely love to do and that you're willing to put in the most work for to make happen, and make sure you have like a reason behind it. Like we have a reason because we are trying to help people. We want to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that motivates us, that helps us, and we want to like make a safe place for people to just kind of exist together and have that family. And if you're going in there for like the money or for like the fame or like these like success that society tries to like label and stuff, like that's not the right reason to do it. It's a shallow reason, and you're gonna get burnt out really quickly because you won't see results very fast. And make sure it's something that you really, really love and want to like
It's a lot of work.
make a like a lifestyle
It's a
out of
lot.
it.
People think it's like, oh, it's the greatest. I mean, it's a really cool.
We get to do a
opportunity,
lot
but
of
it's
cool
work.
things. Yeah, and literally every band will tell you like there's so many positives and you have to do so many cool things, but there are negatives. So
Yeah.
don't think that's just some fairy tale like thing you get to do.
Mhm.
But also if you love music and you want to do it
It's
and you're
so
ready
worth
to
it.
give up some things and work a little bit harder, then go for it and go as like put 110% into it, and don't give up. Don't let anyone tell you like to give up, because there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna tell you to give up. And just keep trying, keep practicing, keep
And
getting
don't let
better.
anybody tell you that you have to play a certain like type of music. We kind of break every single rule in the music industry, and we have
There you
fun
go.
doing it. We love doing it, and there's no like right way to do music. So definitely
Right.
don't let people tell you can't do something that you love. Like do music the way that you want to, because that's what is going to fulfill you the most.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And so, if, to close it out, we always ask this question: if you all are going through space and everyone in the galaxy can see this billboard, what would you have on it? to convey to them?
Bigfoot is real. It's plain and simple.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
Awesome. No, yeah, thank you so much for coming on. This has been so much fun. It was great talking to you guys again.
Thank you for having us
Mm-hmm.
and letting us chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Continue,
And so I like to just
guys.
oh,
Keep going. Keep doing what you love.
Thank you.
yep. So I always like to just end it off by saying thank you one more time and handing the mic to you to say any last minute shout outs, quotes, tips, whatever you want to do to end it out. Plug your website, whatever. And it's been a pleasure having you guys on, and the mic's all yours.
Yeah, I mean, we always say go to our website, www.thegfmband.com, because everything is linked. You know, there's nothing is like different names except
all of our social media names are the
Yes.
GFM band. It's all the same, so it's super easy to find.
except our Google Play and Spotify is our
Full name.
official name, Gold, Frankincense, and Myrrh. So we've made it easy for everyone.
Yeah. And just keep going strong, keep fighting, and remember that we love you and Jesus loves you.
Well, that's it. Thanks for listening. You can find all courses at GameDev.tv or in the show notes at a discounted price. Get started with the game development journey today.